Good.
Fantastic. Friends, welcome. This is, I believe, the 21st I haven't said anything yet. Let's go back to the beginning. I believe this is the 21st episode of King Arthur Pendragon 5.2, the Great Pendragon campaign. Hey, James, thanks for that reset. You know, perfectly timed as always to interrupt the intro.
Yep.
Nothing
I missed
like...
the days when you had it up way too loud.
Well, it's not that I had it up way too loud. It's that I needed to go use a specific procedure in order to lower the volume that was extremely arcane in nature and took me years of asking people before Drummer Boy told me, oh yeah, this is how you solve that, and fixed the problem in about 20 seconds. But no, it was me who wanted it to be too loud, James, despite me going, oh God, it's so loud, I can't hear anything. You got me, Jim. You got me. This will be the last episode of the show for a little while. Until the new year, probably. So enjoy it while it lasts, audience. I don't know why I said that really hostilely. But now I'm going to stick to it, audience. Hey, a lot happened last episode, and as much as I'm trying to get us into 496... we're not going there yet. We're not. We're still here in 495, and we're probably going to stay here for a little while because someone has volunteered themselves and possibly all of their friends to go to a little town somewhere and solve a big problem. That would be the name of this arc, is Big Problem Little Town. Does anyone have anything they need to cover before we get started here?
I still need to go back to Shrewton to meet with.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So I'm not sure where that could happen because I think
you want to do that immediately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have we got time to do that and then go back to help the others with the village situation?
Yeah, I think we can assume that Kendric may take a day or two to gather up forces. I don't know if he's bringing levies or men at arms or knights.
Yeah, I have stuff to do at my manor too.
Are you going as an envoy with you and your knight friends, or are you bringing hundreds of people behind you? Because they will be very different receptions.
Yeah, that's a really great question.
That is a really great question. You. I appreciate that you said that about a question I asked. A thoughtful and intelligent question. Is that where we want to start then? Is with Gwgan going to meet Lady Elaine?
I'm happy with that.
Okay. You find yourself seated across from Lady Elaine. He is pale, and the situation, of course, is grim. I know it's been months out of character, but it is mere a week after one of the most shocking and scandalous poisonings, and possibly, it is rumored, acts of magic against the kingdom has ever been performed, killing hundreds, if not thousands of noblemen, knights, rulers, and people of importance. It has left the kingdom no longer a kingdom, shockingly disunited against each other, and a scramble for power has begun. And of course, I believe Elaine has just this year lost a son
yes.
on pilgrimage. It is a I don't want to say broken person that sits across from you, someone who has been tempered by a extremely trying year.
Cousin, now we're in person once more. It's I can only extend my sincerest condolences over the loss of your son alongside mine. As you know, of course, though, things in the realm have taken a much dire turn. I wish that we were meeting again under better circumstances.
I think we all do.
It's good that you wrote to me, actually. I had a matter I wish to discuss with you as well, but you should go first. You were the one that invited me to return and speak.
She puts her hands in her lap and says, To me, it is of the utmost importance that I honor your service to the family. I would not dishonor you or diminish your importance in any way by implying that your loyalty can be bought, for indeed you are a member of this family. Your loyalty does not need to be bought. But these are dangerous times, and there are harsh rumors and words about families turning against each other. And I would say to you this, that given the turn of events, I would have Blodwyn made a squire as soon as possible, and indeed be placed upon the path to knighthood and dameship, so that she may inherit this house.
The irony is that this is the exact thing I came to speak with you about. I believe that with Blodwyn being your only heir, that it would be right that she pursue the path of knighthood for many reasons, including the fact that she would have a little more control over her own destiny than she would as lady-in-waiting. And I intend not only to see her knighted, but to, when the time comes, when she comes of age, to hand her a knight. What do you call it? Sorry, when you're knight of other knights.
Banneret.
Banneret, yeah, to hand her a banneret. We're already well on our way to completing that goal.
It is my intention that when she becomes a knight, that you would be given allowances, that yourself and your heir, Erwin, be allowed to have a cadet branch and be invested in a manner of your own to do with as you wish.
That was my hope, but that would be her choice when the time came.
Then it is good that we are both on the same hymnal.
And you, I mean, when she begins, she's only old enough to become a page now, but she will be transferring to another house to serve as a page before she joins a knight as a squire. Is there anything that I could do for you so that you're not alone here in this house while I'm at war?
I have the family and our men-at-arms and our servants. And I don't wish to be cruel by saying this, but I am used to being alone. It has been some time since the death of my husband.
Indeed, 10 years now.
They say that there's another bear in Ember, so I suppose some things never change.
Thank you for your candor. I agree that it's fortuitous that God has given us both the same clarity of vision to reach the same outcome. I have sworn to protect you and your heirs before God, and I will continue to do so until such time as your heir can take this house. I must ask, though, Elaine, your relationship with your family of birth, how strong is it?
She grimaces slightly and says, "It is not as strong as one might hope during these times. I have long fully accepted my place in this family that I now belong to." And then she swallows hard.
I'm not a man of intrigue, cousin, but I am aware of how the world works. I'm aware that in this trying time, there will be people who will shirk the natural order in order to better themselves or better their situation. I have the concern that your old family may reclaim your old manners, and all it would take would be the death of you and your child. For that reason, I had considered that in sending Blodwyn to become a page and squire, that we might have her work under an assumed name, attempt to hide her connection to this household, at least until she comes of age.
I leave this matter in your hands. You think that is wisest and best course, and that is what we shall do.
At least until the realm stabilizes.
Then I will not see her again until she is an adult.
That was my fear and the reality of such a situation. We still have this Christmas. Please, we should all be close for this Christmas. I go soon to solve a matter in the northeast, but I will return here when the winter comes. Let it be our last winter together as a family, yours and mine joined.
Then I will await your return before Christmas.
I looked off camera to my non-present wife to ensure that she'll look after Elaine when the time comes.
There's a complex series of flag signals from the battleship.
I was expecting a very different conversation, and I was fully prepared to go to war over this. So,
this is the thing she wanted to talk to you about before everything with the Countess happened.
Yeah,
and things have her imperative has only gotten stronger now that she knows there are literal betrayers in the county who have already forsworn oaths of loyalty. Listen, I feel really bad because I was going to say put a check mark in family, but you already have a check mark. So instead, I will offer you a check mark in honor.
Okay, thank you very much. My original thought was that she might prove difficult, in which case I was going to ship her off to St. Albans and have her forced to become a nun.
Whoa. Jesus.
Wow. He's
brutal.
Listen, first off, I don't want to hear that from you, Spoon. You're like, this is my era. All right. You're watching Knead and Gwgan be like, send these women away. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to do some bad stuff. Whoa, you guys calm down.
Listen, it's for the good of the realm.
For the good of the realm. Man's playing Lord of the Realms 2 on the highest difficulty. For the peace of the kingdom.
For the peace of the kingdom.
What is the Fisher guy? Nice morning.
Great day for fishing, ain't it?
Great day for fishing, ain't it? Oh, don't worry. That guy would show up in today's episode. Where it's so cold outside. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before we sit down and talk about the Council of Kendric as he sets out towards Duplain?
I have some tasks for some of my household members. I don't know if it requires a scene, but the biggest one is I task Sir Selwyn, my uncle, with the training of 3 of the family guards armsmen, to train them in the ways of becoming knights, because these were esquires that didn't quite make it. So I want him to pick up their training. And
okay. I mean, this is a process that's probably going to be half a decade, and you already know that the cost associated with it is enormous. Well,
so the thing is they already have most of the fighting skills. It's just the other stuff. So like maybe like horsemanship or like the court skills aren't there for knighthood, but they're basically what I want to do is I want to try and turn some of my other lineage men into knights.
Okay. And you know it costs what, like 20 or 25 pounds to, all right, just as long as you're
20,
aware.
20 pounds for
This is a man who's trying to
night.
tell me he wants to make walls and castles.
Listen,
you know, all that glitters, it's not gold, my friend.
Wow.
I guess the other thing to say would be you can't take it with you when you're dead, so spend it while you've got it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I call let's see, who did I send to? I call Sir Kerwin and my other cousin, Sir Idwal.
No, hold on. Is Kerwin one of the ones that got dispatched?
No, that was Sir Reese and Sir Molai. At least that's what I have it written down as.
Okay, Sir Reese and Sir Morlai. All right. Just making sure, because I have Morlai and Kerwin together, so I just put down that someone was missing. I grouped them by the part of the family that they're in.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. What would you like Kerwin to do?
I want Kerwin and Idwald to come with me to Duplain when we go.
Okay. Interesting. And Sir Reese is away during that time, correct?
Yeah, Sir Reese. So basically the only night I have at the manor is Selwyn.
Well. How interesting.
Jeez, and I thought I had small holdings at home.
No, dude, I only have like five nights with me. And then I
extremely risky right now, but I'll allow it.
I'm leaving all of my other lineage men, all of my levies at home.
Perfect. That's exactly what I want to hear.
And then I send word to the other members of the Order of the Axe to rendezvous at Pitton. Bring any forces you would like. Although I would like to attempt to solve the matter diplomatically if we can.
Need will bring Mifi because he's served with her on the battlefield. But given what's happening at home, he wants to leave Fafan, Braith, and Krieg at Laverstock.
Oh, for my notes, I should probably remove Lady Harfin from in residence then. And also from your elder council, let me just remove her from that as well real quick. I have a note here that says, does Kinnead take Gwynar as squire?
No. I think we decided that Gwynar died in battle with Hades. Okay. He has a new squire named Ifanwi.
All right. That note was quite old, but I didn't put an answer next to it, so it's good that we've got that locked in there. Anything else?
I'm also leaving all of my lineage men and levies at home.
Very well.
I think
Gwgan?
I'll bring along my two uncles, Isla Dar and Defeed. The younger knights can stay at home to protect the home front. I mean, Kendric, you weren't actually. Were you talking about calling levies or not?
I was thinking about it, but
Effectively, we would need the Countess's approval to raise levies, but I think has she implicitly asked us to deal with this problem?
Yes. And I thought about it, but I feel like, if it comes to that, we can leave and then come back. Okay. But you can't harvest a field with dead peasants.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just bring the two uncles. And our squires, obviously.
Yeah.
I've written down the secret name of the heir. Have you decided which house she will be placed in?
Sorry?
For you, your new page.
Yep.
Which house will you invest her in to become a page, squire, and then eventually knighted?
I'm not sure because it's not until next year. I was probably going to ask for. I didn't want it to be so obvious as to put it in one of these three houses. I was considering
Gwent.
Well, I was considering Gwent's house. Yeah.
He has his own manor now.
Yeah, I was also considering whether we, change the rules as well and effectively raise her as a boy initially. But which would have additional costs associated with the activities therein. But
I see.
Which I'd obviously pay.
Yes, the Fate Stay Night version of the King Arthur legacy. Yeah. We shall raise her as a boy.
It's not an issue in this setting so far as her gender. It's more a case of it's just one more layer of
less
subterfuge.
murderable. Yes, I know.
Yeah. I don't know whether Gwgan's really that intriguing enough to really think of that, so I'll probably just leave things. You've already got a name, I'll leave it with the made-up name.
Indeed. And her made-up name is Epona, which is the Celtic goddess of horses.
Yes. It's where the name Pony comes from. All right, I'll come back to you on that one. But yeah, if I don't come back to you, it's Gwen's house.
Very well.
Yeah. The other one I considered was reaching out to the Dane.
Titania,
yeah, seeing whether she was considered taking, but because she's been invested in a house, so hasn't she? By the Countess,
she has, yes.
Wiley,
you could certainly use a page.
Yeah, so that might be a question for the Christmas gathering.
Very well. I like all of these positive thoughts that you'll be free for Christmas, free from Duplay. That said, the Council of Kendric gathers in Pitton. As you trudge towards the eastern road, those of you arriving from the west find that while the weather is still a slight bit above a chill, the first frost on the ground cannot be too far away. Winter is coming, and to be stuck in Duplain for winter would be quite dire for your prospects. While it is only, in the winter, perhaps 2 days' ride from home, garrisoning in Duplain in a potentially hostile location 2 or 3 days from any reinforcement on the border, you can already see that whichever men-at-arms and servants you have brought with you are somewhat skittish at the prospect of a long trip to Duplain. I don't know that we've seen the Pittonese manor that much. Perhaps you'd like to describe the setting for us. Where is this meeting being held and how is it being held? Oh, great war leader, the Mad Bear.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Pitton has changed a lot since we first, saw it back in 485. It now has a moat and walls, and there's a very large mound that is being built because I'm planning on building a tower on it this winter. but it is a manor that sits astride the main road to the east, and I think we're probably sitting at the standing at the gates of the palisade, with all of our horses, saddled and ready to go. And Kendric looks at the two of you. Did Gwent come?
Yes, he did come. Yes.
Okay.
He did have to ride back. I think that probably more than any of you, he's exhausted because he had to ride back home, invest himself in an entirely new manor, set it entirely to order, and then ride back. Because, death of a family member allowed him to inherit. But he is quite new to the principles of lordship, so I think he's breathing heavily as he sits down, and he looks like a man who's been on a horse for about 24 hours. Smells like it, too.
Yeah. This matter at Duplain is troubling. I plan, or at least my plan, is to go in there, meet with whatever these leaders of this peasant revolt is, try and resolve the matter diplomatically. If not, we either cut the head off the snake or leave and return in the spring with an army. What do you think?
I think that the idea of 5 for diplomacy is certainly the best option. My only concern is that we might enter under a flag of diplomacy. But if we're not dealing with knights, we have no guarantee that they'll honor that if they don't like the conversation.
I agree. I don't plan on wearing my court garb to the meeting, if that's what you mean.
I also worry if things don't go well and we leave them the winter to fortify and dig in, we might have a lot of trouble rooting them out come spring.
Much not to mention we would have failed the Countess in that regard.
Indeed. I would say we should do everything we can to settle it one way or another before the snows fall.
All right. We invite them to come and talk with us somewhere free from both sides' forces, rather than walking into their town.
That might be wise.
I know it'll be armed and armored, but any knight still suffers at the hands of 100 peasants.
We can start with that. I don't know how cagey this mayor will be, but
depends how much they know of knighthood. If we offer them guarantees of safe passage, perhaps we should bring along a priest to act as an intermediary.
Not a bad idea. I can call upon the priest of this manor. And I'll send. I guess do I have a new squire?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess I do have a new squire. Hang on, let me.
Wouldn't it be? Well, it won't be next year because this is technically
that's
20
right.
in 495. We haven't gone for a year yet. Yeah.
Yeah, so I send. Well, but I think my squire did we sent them to Ember though, didn't we?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess I don't have a squire. I send a peasant to go look for the priest, the manor, to bring him with us.
Hold on, I have that name. It's not Chewy. That's Roderick, dead confessor. Keep going and whatever you're saying, and I will find this priest. He exists I've mentioned him before.
Yeah.
Father Bruggen.
Okay.
I think he showed up exactly once.
Yeah, probably. Okay. I think
So Bruggen is actually the father for several manors in the local area. All of you know of him. I mean, he moves between them in the way that a high lord might move between their various manors. He stops in a church and will be its priest for several weeks before moving on. He's the typical sackcloth tonsured. Perhaps it's a little too time forward, but let's just say he's an old, bitter, not very well educated, but can read kind of man with a far too large nose that makes it clear that he likes the sacramental wine perhaps a little too much, and bathing not enough.
A red nose.
Yes, a red nose. It's also got dirty pores, is what I'm saying. I'm glad that you all understand what I'm saying, even though I'm trying to imply it subtly. Yes, with bushy eyebrows, and he just comes in. He says, yes. You, sorry, what was my purpose here? You wanted me to go alone into this rebel stronghold and do what exactly?
we thought you might come in handy mediating with these peasants.
How do you want to mediate? Am I leading them out of the town into a trap where these rebels will be crushed by the might of Christ?
Not initially. We hoped they might see the error of their ways and return to the natural order of the world. But if it comes to that, it's good to know you're on board.
My concern is that these rebels might not pay their tithes to the church, which would be
sacrilege.
Yes, against God. Yes, against God. It would be a very big problem.
Well, we're hoping to solve that problem, Father.
Yes, I know. You're a very good young man. You all pay your tithes. It's good. I also appreciate all of the local wine in the area. There's so many people starting wineries.
Have you tried the mead, Father?
I've had an apiary
since.
Technically, I can't have the mead based on religious principles.
Yes, of course.
When the local manors, the peasants occasionally ask me to be a taste tester and a judger of various liquids while I'm blindfolded. I may have tested your mead at certain spring festivals this year. I have to say, whatever it was, it had notes of honey.
Shall we get on the road before it freezes over?
Oh, yes, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? Yeah. Did anyone bring an extra horse for me?
I have several in my stables that you can use.
Very kind of you. Very kind indeed.
Did you get a sumpter or a mule?
He could take whichever horse he wants, except for the charger.
I think that you see him trying to get on the sumpter and failing, and it takes a squire to help him onto the mule eventually. He's what Texans might call all hat, no cattle. Here you go, Texas. I got you. He heavily settles himself in place. It's just like, okay, gentle now there, mule. Gentle. Let's, yeah. He gets moving at a solid 1.5 miles an hour.
Right, and we head off for Duplain.
Okay. When you stop before Duplain, you can see plain stretching out in front of you. Let's say you are on a somewhat, I don't want to be like, you're on the side of a mountain, but you're on a hill that gives you a slight elevation over the city. Large town. You can see that there are a number of well-to-do folk outside of a old community. The eldest homes are those closest to the rivers and are increasingly being upkept, formed into stone or fine wood planks. Further away from that, you get the less well-to-do the roads are, but still, everyone that lives here is no serf. This is a town the serfs serve, but this is a place of craftsmen and merchants. But probably most importantly is the castle, which looks over the 2 bridges of Wallop, which watch the Test River. So there is a small island that is between this 2 banks of the Test River, which the castle lies upon, which looks out over the city, town, large town. Technically, if one was to destroy these bridges, the castle would be basically impenetrable. The fast, deep water here would make it extremely difficult to attack an island castle. That said, out of the 6 castles of Salisbury, Duplain is perhaps the smallest, and you see few armsmen or men-at-arms there. In fact, based on what you're looking at, it seems as if mercenaries have set up their banners on the walls of the castle, and have indeed locked the castle gates so that none may pass over the Test River and the 2 bridges of Wallop, meaning that travel to and from Silchester has been blocked based on the large backup of people traveling in wagons, perhaps for days. The father rides in, and he rides back out, smiling and waving at you, sometime just before the sun dips beneath the sky behind you. And he says, well, the mayor's dead. The knight who was left in charge, not the commander of the fortress, the knight who was left in charge, decided to leave to go to Silchester. There's some men-at-arms whose lords are all dead, so they don't have anyone to pay their bills, and they all got snatched up by a mercenary commander who has said that he's waiting for someone to pay his bills. His bills aren't technically due yet, but, with the fluctuating state of the kingdom, he'd like to be given partial payment now. The town council has essentially said that they don't recognize the Countess's government, and that since there's no king, Duplain is technically independent.
Interesting.
That said, I'm no spy. I'm a man of God. I did detect some slight tension between the town council and this mercenary commander. Captain. Yes.
You don't
They're
say.
Interfering. Now, you see, they have boats and they go around, but some of the loads are too big to load on the boats, right? I mean, if they could just do boats, why would they need bridges? So only the biggest wagons are being held up, but large good stockpiles, especially food for the winter, are not being moved where they should be. So it's quite a problem. It seems like everybody's got an angle here.
So it would seem.
Yes. They were good, respectful men, though. They promised me that I would get the tithe, 10%. They were rather, They mentioned tithing a lot, but they didn't talk about their 30% tax that they owe the countess and the king. So, those, and then of course there's the sinus tax and the salt tax, and then just in case, your highborn lords, you may not know about it, but the sinus tax is during the winter when you get ready to slaughter all your animals, you have to pay a tax on the dead animals. So it's kind of a big deal around this time of year.
Did the mercenaries say how much they were looking to get paid?
Oh, I didn't speak to them directly. Again, I'm a man of God, not of, I
didn't know if it would, was common knowledge in the streets.
I spoke directly to 4 members of the I call them the town council, but really they're just the 4 oldest men who are wise, well-respected property owners in the area. All good Kimricks and all good Christians.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of us. I feel like we can negotiate with them.
Well, they'll be one of us once they swear allegiance.
Thank you for...
God willing.
Thank you for investigating for us, Father Brune.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna climb down from this mule now. Can I get a squire here to help me, or maybe a page?
I'll step forward and help him off of the mule.
This guy's like 300 pounds of priest and 120 pound sack, so he comes down kind of hard.
I hand him a wineskin and point him towards the tent you set up for him.
He immediately blesses it in the name of God.
Have a good evening, Father.
Thank you, my boy. Yes. God be with all of you. You do his work.
And then I turn to the other members of the Axe and, well,
So
the situation has changed, apparently.
we've really got 2 factions here. We've got the mercenaries and we've got the townsfolk. The mercenaries wanting to get paid, obviously simply occupying this land won't get them paid. So if they have costs, their only option will be to turn to banditry. And if they have no allegiance to the town, they'll probably put the first harsh act against the town itself. Claim money, claim food from the townsfolk, especially as the winter sets in. I don't see the mercenaries and the townsfolk being allies for very long if nothing is done. Which potentially gives the option to wait this out, and then when the townsfolk realize what the mercenaries are doing in their town, we come in to resolve the mercenary issue on the proviso that the town then swears allegiance to the countess again once the matter is resolved.
I just worry we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
I expect that things will start getting edgy right around the first snow.
Otherwise, we try to pay the mercenaries off and have them leave, and then the town have no defense against whatever forces we then bring. They'll be forced to surrender.
I'd like to speak to both the mercenary captain and the town council. Separately, obviously, but to hear what each of them want from their own mouths. And perhaps find out who this mercenary captain is, what sort of man they are, or what sort of what quality of character they have. The county needs every sword it can get.
Yes, if we can
There may be some deals to be made here.
lock up their service.
I mean, they need to be shown that there's no such thing as an independent town. An independent town is just a town which is waiting for some much larger force to come and claim it.
I agree. And
They can have a say in their lieges, or they can wait until they get invaded.
yeah, I don't think any any outcome here ends with us leaving Duplain independent. And whatever we need to do and to impress upon them the fact that a independent town is a lone sheep waiting to be set upon by wolves, we will do.
I'd say let's find this captain and see what we're dealing with. I think we know what we're dealing with the townsfolk.
Yeah. Very well. You said it's getting dark, right, AP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning then?
Okay.
On a side note, you're familiar with the concept of micronations, right?
Yes.
Like Luxembourg.
Yeah, well, even more so than that, like non-existent nations as such that claim to have nation status. There was a region, it's no longer there anymore, but there was a region in Western Australia that was called the Hutt River Province, where like a family sort of declared that their land was sovereign territory outside of Australia, and they refused to pay taxes, and they made their own currency and issued their own passports, and the guy declared himself king of Hutt River Province. And effectively the government just ignored them. They racked up big debts in terms of fines for not paying taxes, and eventually the guy died, and his son decided the whole farce was over and shut it all down. But I kept thinking, we should just accept that they're there and then just march in like a squad of soldiers and annex the territory, and then there we go. Now it's Australia again because you've just been invaded and overtaken.
Yeah. So I think in the morning we ride down to the castle, or do we think maybe sending a message to see if they'll meet with us?
Yeah, we need to send a message saying that we want to meet. We will we'll leave behind our forces. Not saying how big our forces are, and we'll meet them somewhere, and we'll give them guarantees as knights that they will be able to pass unharmed.
Okay. You receive a message back indicating that Captain Fletcher will meet with you in the market today. The independence of both sides guaranteed by over 1,000 commoners at the market. That if anyone tries anything, all of us will fail.
So is he implying that he commands 1,000 commoners? Or
no,
that
quite the opposite.
Just 1,000 commoners there?
He's saying if they try anything to you, the local townsfolk will probably eat both sides, right?
Gotcha.
While you're fighting each other, you present an opportunity to the merchants to just stab everybody in the back.
Yeah, and we're,
But by meeting there, we present the same opportunity.
Correct. But he's... Okay, let me be clear, because for the more clever of you, you may note that he's siding the two of you against the peasants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's like, hey, we're together in this, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not subtle. It's not subtle.
Yeah.
But he will not come out alone to meet you on your own terms and territory.
I'm fine meeting this man in the market square.
Very well. Let's see what he has to say.
Okay. You head down. There are many things being sold in this market. You could see that there's even someone selling patents of genealogy, letter writing, indulgences, silver jewelry like earrings and rings, dogs and hawks. People are buying barrels of salted pork of different. So, we think of a barrel as a barrel, right? But a barrel is an extremely specific description of a size of container. And they're selling, salted pork from like this big up to like much larger than a man sort of deal.
Yeah, you get those little kegs you can put in your refrigerator like that. That's the size of barrel for stuff as well.
Yeah, your keg of salt pork to go in your ice box.
I'm giving it a comparison of size.
Yes. Probably notably, there are no weapons on sale here. Not even arrows or bolts. And it is also no alcohol being sold. And you find yourself across from Dexter Fletcher, who is captain of a mercenary band called the Triple Struck Shield.
I'm curious where you got the name from.
Yeah. Wait, do you say that to him?
No. I'm only because Dexter Fletcher is an actor as well.
Oh, I just chose common English names and
nice.
A Fletcher
is he wearing like a device? Like a do they have like a symbol?
He has a actual shield that has 3 claw marks on it.
Okay. Is he armed and armored, or?
I think he's got padded armor on, like Gambison.
Like a Gambison, yeah.
And he's got a cloak. His shield is on his back, and he has a walking stick, which could easily be used as a weapon, but there's no obvious like metal or anything. No swords.
Any men with him?
I think you note that there are people who don't belong edging around this conversation.
Some guy is looking very intently at the jewelry in this stall or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Very obviously not a.
This guy's picked up the same orange 4 times.
Yeah, there are definitely armed men roaming around this market. They're not making an attempt to hide their presence, but they're also not close enough to like listen into whatever conversation you have. It seems like they are theater. They're security theater.
Okay.
And perhaps not theater for you. This might be a show for the locals. Because you're noticing that their presence here is not terribly well received, given that they have locked the gates and prevented traverse across the Test River.
And what is the locals' reaction and response to us?
I think to you specifically, people recognize you because Pitton and Duplain are not that far away.
No, and I did fight probably somewhat famous duel not far from here.
Sure. I think that you find that more people than you'd hope seem annoyed by your presence here or outrightly hateful. Maybe more than half the people here. But on the opposite side, there are people who have no reaction to your presence, which perhaps is a good thing, or are outrightly glad to see a known local knight here who is very clearly in command of the situation. So how have you all arrived here? Are you shining in chainmail atop your horses with full armament and on a charger in its war gear, or perhaps is there less subtlety than that? Subtlety may not be the correct word. What the kids call ironic.
It's Kendric's show, but I'd suggest probably like a foot, but still in armor, with sheath weapons and shields in the back.
Sure, yeah, but definitely not making it a secret that hey, we are knights and we're in charge.
Okay.
So we approach Captain Fletcher. You are the mercenary captain?
Dexter. He holds a hand out for you to shake.
Sir Kendric. And I shake it.
Kendric. cold this time of year. This
It
far.
is.
For the Isle of Wight.
Mm-hmm. So you're from the south then?
I would say this is pretty far south comparatively, but yes, I'm from the southern south.
I'm
It's a
curious,
little
Captain
warmer
Fletcher.
there this time of year, you know, currents and all.
Yes. How did you come to be in command of a mercenary company in the castle of Duplain?
Well, do you want the story of how I came to be in command of a mercenary company? Or do you want the story of how I came to be in command of the castle?
I think both.
He takes the shield off his back and kind of sets it in front of him on the ground and then puts one knee up to like hold it in place and says, "You ever heard of a lindworm?"
I don't think, I mean, maybe.
It's a Saxon mythological beast. It's a snake that rides its own tail. It bites its own ass to roll down hills after people.
What a strange beast.
Indeed. It was a prince turned into a frog, cursed by a passing Saxon witch and their strange sacrificial blood magics. I helped free him from his draconic curse after a battle, and he granted me enough gold to start my own company. If you'll believe that. About 5 years back. A lot of garrison work in this part of the world. Uther was a great king. Constantly away from home. Always in need of a garrison around London.
So Uther was your employer until recently?
No. I'm deeply appreciative of his crusades. My employer was the Earl Roderick. He needed his best men to go to war with him. St. Albans.
Indeed.
He picks the shield back up and starts putting it on his back and says, "If I'm not mistaken, the stories say you were there. That you split a Saxon in half with your axe and then drank his blood like a half man, half wolf and howled to the moon, causing it to rain blood." That's what they say.
I think the stories overdo it.
Yes.
It was
Crazy
more
what
of a likeness of
stories
the blood.
say.
So how did you come to be in control of the castle?
The knight who was supposed to be running the castle left.
Mm-hmm.
He had family in Silchester who needed his aid. He abandoned his duties. Other knights, hearing that their fathers were dead, hearing that there was no pay coming, threw down their weapons and abandoned their post, or some of them have joined my band. Suppose their oaths are broken now. Mine aren't. I
You're
gave
still
an
doing
oath
your
to guard
job.
this castle, but I'm concerned that I'm not going to be paid. My men have done their service here.
And what is it you're owed, Captain?
60 pounds. That's now. Another 60 in 6 months. And I won a bonus. I was never supposed to be running and administering this garrison.
Mm-hmm.
My people have undergone some hardship here, and we're doing what we can to keep the situation under control. Who knows what the wild wolves of Silchester would do if those gates open?
I'm certain that there'll be paperwork in Sarum Castle to validate the numbers that you've given us.
I'm not a numbers man. I had a verbal agreement with the Earl. I always assumed he was as good as his word. If he has such papers, I would applaud you for finding them.
Well, I appreciate you meeting with me, Captain.
And what is your duty here, Sir Kendric?
To ensure that the city and the castle remain in the hands of the County of Salisbury and retain their fealty to the Countess, who is the rightful ruler, until her son comes of age.
I can't say what this town is going to do, but this castle theoretically serves the Earl so long as the Earl's purse remains open to us. Did you bring the Earl's purse?
Well, given that 120 pounds would wage a dozen knights, including their arms and armor and household, for a year, I imagine you must have thousands of men here.
100.
100 knights.
100 men.
Just 100 men.
Men at arms. Skilled warriors. Old beards. Salt hands. Sailors. Skilled. Knowledgeable in their craft. Gray, perhaps. Not as sprightly. Men who've earned their rest. Salisbury men. And now a few knights.
And assuming that the, as you say, the verbal agreement you had with the Earl, he is of course a man of his word, but he is no longer with us. If we can't substantiate your claims, then you can't get paid. What will happen next for your company?
Well, suppose I'll go looking for an employer. God looks poorly on debtors, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, usury is a sin.
I'm not asking anyone to loan me money.
Only to get paid for your work. Well, thank you for meeting with us, Captain Fletcher.
I know those
sure
numbers might seem shockingly high, but I would remind you that my men train, they expend unusual stocks of food, ammunition, and that this is a key point.
I don't underestimate the value of your men or the fact that they hold a key point in the county. I'm sure that your 100 old men could hold that castle for quite some time, should it come to that.
I would hope so. We've been paid to do so. I mean, was it not but a few years ago that still Chesterian rebels were running across the border in every which direction, fleeing their grips of the master? One would hate for runaway serfs and other brigands and criminals to freely roam the eastern lands of Salisbury. I would say that I stand as a protecting shield against such troubling influences in these dark times. Your manor's not far from here, if I'm not mistaken, Sir Kendric.
It is not.
Less than a day's ride.
In
Who
good
knows
weather.
what could spill out of the east without loyal protectors?
Oh, I think I have a pretty good idea.
God forbid the river be held against you.
Indeed.
Well, this was a good First chat, I should think.
I'm sure we'll be speaking again soon.
Yes. Sir Kendric,
Yes.
the first frost is coming soon. You should dress warmly.
Thank you, Captain.
He gives you a shitty smirk before he turns and begins the muddy walk back to the castle.
Mhm.
And hey, now's a great time to take a break. Friends, we'll be back in the middle part in an appropriate amount of time. Hey, friends. During the break, I got some great news for all our Catholics out there. The Pope has announced that extramarital sex sins are not that serious, so you'll no longer require the correct type of indulgence. However, as you know, this game is extremely historically accurate under my aegis, and so it will still require a major indulgence if you engage in adultery. But don't worry, 1,500 years in the future, you'll be safe.
That's right. I have two venal indulgences, so
Yeah, and
Yeah, James, is there something you want to tell us about your plans to use them?
well, one of them, if I did have to murder Wayne's wife, that would have been one of them would have been used on that, since I did swear to God I would protect her. But thankfully, it didn't come to that.
I love it. Thankfully, didn't come to that. But I didn't have to
James
use
put
my
so much thought into this
Yeah.
plan to throw her in the nunnery.
He saw how well my
Jesus.
right? He went, "Oh shit, AP's really going here."
So venal's the big one, right? And plenary is the small one.
Plenary is the small one. That's right. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not super Catholic, so I need reminders like this. So you got the big one, so you could cheat on your wife twice. Kendric's only done it one time, so you could be way ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm also pagan.
Yeah, but that was actually going to be the next scene. Is the opening scene is Father Bruggen like, now listen, Sir Kendric, I think it might be of benefit to you. You converted publicly in front of everyone into play. It would reassure them that you're one of us. It would help bind you to Salisbury, a holy Christian county. It would be great for me and you all together, all as one, united in Christ. Have you considered giving up your pagan gods?
I keep picturing Rabbi Tuckman from Robin Hood Men in Tights, like the Mel Brooks version.
Yeah, Mel Brooks. Yeah. Oh my god.
Wasn't originally what I was going for, but okay. It's a difficult times. We never know who we can trust, sir. So let me say this. You can always trust a man of God. You just not say anything?
Yeah, I think I just go.
Just quit nod.
Yeah. Because King Luther was a man of God.
I mean, you said that to him?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just throw hands with a priest.
No, I don't think I say don't say anything to him at all, and
you don't say anything, and after an uncomfortable 2 minutes of silence, he slaps his hands on his knees and goes, "Oh, well, I better be moving along, and we'll talk more about this later, my son."
Yes, of course, Father.
So as we were saying before the father walked in, I think that paying them, we said that we shouldn't pay them 120.
No.
Not
for 100 old men.
No.
They're not asking for 120 right now. They're asking for 60 right now.
Right.
But
we're not
paying them 60 right now either.
No,
okay.
No.
One, because I didn't bring 60 Libra with me.
Yeah, so there's one option is to offer them less than what they want. you suggested, I thought about this too, whether we wanted to offer any of those men the opportunity for knighthood in order to boost Salisbury's knight numbers. But that is also a significant investment in terms of investing those men into knights.
Well, I think the other thing you might want to think about is what to do with the knights who have abandoned their oaths.
Right.
They probably aren't too keen to return to traditional Salisburyan society.
That would be my preference would be to keep Captain Fletcher and his mercenary company in service to the county. But again, as you said, Sir Gwgan, we are not going to be paying them 120 libra. But however we can, I would like to try and keep them in our service.
Well, the only way to do that is financially.
Yes. Well,
it's a case of working out what that number is.
Right. And whether it comes in the form of currency or land. But
does anyone have any idea in normal circumstances what the cost would be to hire a company like this to garrison the castle for 12 months?
He says he has 100 men. I assume they're, traditional sergeants, not mounted.
I'll absolutely take a stewardship role on this one.
Could I
I have a steward for that.
could I swing a battle instead?
Yes.
I mean, it's not. It's better than my 3. I would have succeeded either way.
Okay. This ask is quite high if it only included literal payment for services. It is somewhat less high if you include things like food and ammunition and replacement of arms and armor. It is still on the upper edge of what a mercenary might receive. This is what one might call a sweetheart deal or a golden parachute sort of thing.
I mean, certainly we can acknowledge the fact that these times are not normal times. That's why I was asking what the cost would be like under normal circumstances.
Under more normal circumstances, it would probably be closer to half of what they're asking for a 6-month salary. Each man would receive something like 30 or 40 denarii, I think, like a half pound. But that, again, assumes that they are being fed and armed by the local lord, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if that was the case, it would be a case of trying to convince the populace that, they need to feed these men, otherwise these men will take the food themselves under threat of force.
I would say that even if we offered him half, it's probably more than we can spare ourselves, and we can't exactly make promises to the purse without asking our ladyship. So,
I mean, first off, I think that we'd offer half, and he would ask for more. If he sticks with I'm not taking anything less than 120 for a year, then obviously this is not a negotiation. We need to take other tact. But I would think if we offered him half, he would come back with something intermediary, and we'd simply haggle until we arrived at a price. If he was really interested in.
I'm about to enter into contract negotiation with James. How have I been on role-playing shows with him for years, and this has never happened?
Yeah. In any case, whatever deal we offer Captain Fletcher, I think we need to speak with the town council first.
Why? I think we just force it down their throat once we figure out what we're doing with Fletcher.
Well, if we have their support in this, then we can potentially lighten the load by having them, for example, feed and support his troops.
Gwent has been quiet so far, but he leans in and he says, the town council's on our side. There's basically nothing they can do to resist us. If they can't get food, if the food is protected by us knights, that castle, they might be able to hold out for some time, but not forever. Certainly not in these times, especially if they are, as he says, loyal Salisbury men. I don't want to suggest anything untoward, but these men must have families.
I mean, that would be easy to establish with the knights who have turncoat. But I agree that we need to have a conversation with the town council first. I think that our pitch to them needs to be that they need to appreciate what will happen if these mercenaries stay here unpaid and unsupported. Conversely, we as representatives, as the Court of Salisbury, are looking to potentially resolve this mercenary issue by hiring them either to stay here or go somewhere else. But if we hire them, then that means we have some control. Like they're not going to stay here and protect a town which is not contributing to the
county.
The county, which means if they withdraw, then there are no armsmen here to protect this town if, say, for example, Silchester decides to make a move.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want protection, they need to be on board with this.
Rejoin the flock, as it were.
Yes. Yeah. It's a nice provincial town you have here. Be ashamed if it got damaged.
And pillaged.
There it is.
I mean, I'm assuming, for example, Arthur, like things like the farms are outside the palisade wall. The palisades where inside the palisade where people live. Things like
this is not a farming town.
Okay.
This is a craftsman town that farms feed into.
Is it a walled town though?
It is not walled.
Yeah, I didn't
the
think
castle
so.
in the center island of the Test River is walled. The town is not walled.
So it buys food from elsewhere in exchange for
specialty goods that can only be made in a larger town or city. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it wouldn't be too hard to cut them off from food, but like you say, dead peasants don't.
Well, before you think that too much, they do have access to the river, which does mean they can move goods far distances.
Yeah, unless you dam it.
If you dam it, there's no getting to Hampshire, but yes. Okay, chat. Yes, knights could sack their own town. That's really not that surprising, though. Happens more often than you'd think.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, like knights raided and pillaged all the freaking time as well. They were they did no issue with banditry.
Yeah, Spoon it's in his soul. He wants an excuse to do it right now.
Let's go speak to these town councilmen.
Okay, so we need to send a similar thing asking for meeting, whether it's on whatever terms, but we need to make sure that we're not just walking into a...
They're willing to come to you.
Okay.
So you're meeting with 4 men.
Do we want the father present as well?
I mean, I just kind of assumed it was the father who was doing who was being our messenger.
Setting it up, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's 4 men who meet with you: Budfannon Smith, Neil Kellogg, Rofanen Boatwright, and Card Butler. Now, just to be very clear here, they don't have real last names. Those are descriptions of the jobs.
Their job title.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, a Smith, a Butler, and what was the other ones?
Kellogg.
Right, and Kellogg.
Kellogg is short for Kill Hog. He's a butcher. And Butler, I think, should be somewhat self-discriminatory, self-explaining as well. They come with a small troop of boys as young as 9 and probably journeymen as old as 19. Some of the older boys have like strapped pieces of wood in places that should be armored, you know, like a wood plank or something. And all of them are carrying what could generously be described as a war stave, and what could otherwise be described as a traveler's walking stick that has a hard knot at one or both ends. The boys are attempting to look large, masculine, and intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
You mind, Kendric, if I address the group?
Be my guest, Sir Gwgan.
Gentlemen, thank you for receiving our invitation. I am Sir Gwgan of Shrewton.
Do you have any chairs, Sir Gwgan of Shrewton?
I don't know. Do we have? We didn't bring chairs with us, so. Yeah.
Yeah, there are chairs back at the camp, but
okay, they all start pulling out
meeting.
pipes, and somebody gets a blanket out for them to sit on the ground, and just like a bunch of old men who don't listen to people regularly and are normally the ones that tell people stuff are like, all right, give me a minute. Let me sit down and be prepared to listen to whatever you have to say. They're like all like moving around, trying to get their butt right on the blanket on the ground. Somebody's just like, first frost coming in soon. And somebody else like, yeah, Card, first frost is coming in soon. That's how time works.
Could we have had like maybe food brought here? Like, I mean,
Probably.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I would
Snacks.
assume you brought a lot of food with you.
No.
But you probably have a little bit of food left.
Yeah, enough, finger food for.
I assume we had enough like travel supplies for like a week.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite a bit. But I assume you brought your extra horses to carry such a thing. So
yeah, and we have like our pavilions and stuff. And
okay,
gentlemen, we are here representing Countess Ellen of Salisbury.
We know.
The Countess has sent us here to try and resolve the matter of a Salisburyan town which is no longer recognizing the family that has always led it as its leaders, that is not paying its tithes.
All of them are like, whoa, we pay the tithes. And so somebody's like, find the father. We told him we were going to pay our tithes.
Well, that could be resolved. I'm not here to talk about money. I'm simply here to talk about loyalty.
Now, if you mean taxes, that's a different matter.
This town is perched on the edge of the space between Salisbury and Silchester. The realm is in an unusual state right now following the tragic death of the king, and we anticipate that there will be men-at-arms who will attempt to better their position through force. Your town is precariously placed in this respect. Now, you are garrisoned currently by a mercenary company, a company which currently is unpaid, which will require feeding during the winter and will probably take whatever they're not given from those less able to defend themselves. We need to seek a resolution with the mercenary company. We will either employ them on behalf of Salisbury, or we will get them to move on in some capacity. Because if we don't, you'll be stuck in a situation where men-at-arms will be garrisoning your city at a time when food will be minimal, resources will be light, and I don't think that will go well for anybody. So if we were to employ these men and we were to keep them here in their garrison capacity, ensure they were fed either through the town or through other means, then would you not agree that they are providing protection for the town from potential incursion?
When you stop talking, the following things happen. They're all nodding at each other and puffing on their pipes. And then Smith starts by saying, "You said a lot of what we already knew." And Card jumps in and says, "I'm no enemy of Silchester, whatever he's trying to paint here." And somebody else goes, "That's right, Blaine's and Roderick are dead. There's no beef here." Somebody else says, "My mother's sister lives across the river, and my son lives on the far side of the Herawd. I'd say, in some respects, I'm closer to Silchester than I am to Salisbury." Then the talk sort of weans away into how good the weed that they're smoking right now is, and then weans its way back to, well, he does make a point. You know, we've got these defenders here that help defend us against the Saxons strolling up from Hampshire, from Sussex. You do need to be paid. And Rothan says, "I could pay them. I certainly have the money. We could do it ourselves, but question of do we want to?" And Smith turns to all of you and says, "Look, I think we all know Uther got what he deserved. It's a fool's man who turns on his own wizard. All right, I said it. We all know if you're going to practice magic against the advice of good Christian, you got to go all in. You can't just say, I want a wizard, and then say I'm going to arrest the wizard. That's a huge mistake. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Uther got what he deserved. I liked Roderick. I liked the mayor that Roderick put in place. But Flems is dead. So here's where it stands. There's no man in charge of Salisbury. And he holds his hand out right here for like 20 seconds and then slaps his knees, having made his point. Everyone else is just kind of nodding like, oh, there's no man in charge of Salisbury.
There is a man in charge of Salisbury. His name is Earl Robert. He is your lord.
Oh, boy. I feel like I would like a roll from Gwgan and I'd like a roll from Kendric, but I might need a moment to figure out what kind of rolls I want.
Well, I was going to add on to that by saying as well that, you know, do you think that Roderick made every single decision on his own into the governance of this county?
Ah, the Hillary Clinton argument, yes.
Yeah.
You think a man who spent 2 years in court was fully running the country?
I was say, also, we know Roderick. He did not make the decisions regarding the management of the county.
Well, you may know that, but they certainly have not had dinner with the Earl Roderick before.
Sure. And had him tell the lesser of two weevils joke.
Hey, listen, I just want to say, I've been working my way through the audiobooks of that book series. The movie is much, much better, and that moment in the book sucks.
Oh, does it?
Oh, my God.
Oh, that sucks.
It's incredible in the movie. It is bad in the book.
That is unfortunate.
I think for Gwgan, I might almost say either orate or courtesy.
I'm happy with either. The question is whether I think that this is something that, because we're talking a lot about Roderick, whether Loyalty Lord would be something that's worth trying to invoke here. How would you feel about that, Arthur? Would that be against?
I mean,
beyond the pale for
technically,
you?
you'd be invoking it on behalf of Robert, not Roderick. But yes, I agree that is something you could attempt.
All right, I will attempt to invoke Loyalty Lord first off.
Immediately, it's a 20.
I succeed.
Okay.
So then I will do Courtesy. 19 out of 20.
Ooh, nice.
That would have been a fail if I'd invoked my loyalty.
Do you check Loyalty Lord when
I
this
do
happens?
check loyalty, yeah, for a
Yes.
success. Yeah.
And Courtesy, yes. Kendric. What can I say to you, my friend?
Yeah. There really isn't like an intimidate skill.
I would almost say a vengeance check.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a bit. Yeah, you had to bite your tongue there when he said that Uther got what was coming to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I will take orate if you would like to make it a skill, or if you would like to just straight up intimidate them, I will take a vengeful roll.
Yeah, because I think he's basically kind of daring them to be like no, or Robert's not the man in charge, so I'm going to go with vengeful.
Okay.
Are you going to impassion?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you can impassion a personality trait, honestly.
I don't believe you can impassion a trait roll.
So it's just going to be straight against the 11. Success.
Okay, mark a check in that. Based on the success of both of your rolls, you see a group of 4 men who are used to a comfortable life, smoking pipes and telling younger men what they're doing wrong. And you've shown up, and you are very strong younger men. One of you is good copping, and the other of you is terrible copping. And
yeah, the other one of us is like, hey, if I will kill you if you say no.
They look at each other, and Card Butler says, "You'll excuse us if we take a moment to step aside and have a sidebar."
Please, we'll step away while they have that dad huddle.
They go, oh my God, the dad. They booked a dad huddle, so now you can't listen in. I was gonna say you could have made a spy roll or something like that, but now you can't because the dad huddle has been invoked.
Yeah, we've invoked the dad law.
What? Invoke the Dane law? But that's not for another 200 years. Several minutes later, Woodfan Smith comes back in alone, and he says, "Well, sirs, I'll tell you what we've decided. This problem with the mercenaries is a terrible one. Now, obviously, we can get a lot around them. We would be willing to have several prominent members of the community contribute towards having them get paid if it is taken off of our end of year taxes, which I would note are due soon, and the Cenis, which is also due soon. And we would be willing to send a representative to the Earl, for the Earl to inspect, to be the mayor of the town."
Might I ask who that representative would be?
Well, you're looking at him.
This is Smith, yep.
Yeah, Boot
Yeah, this
Fan
is
and
Smith.
Smith, yes.
Yep. I think that this is a good accord.
I would agree.
Now, I gotta ask, do you have the authority to make this accord?
I do.
Well, tell you what. I'll send a message to Boatwright. He'll make sure that those honorable Salisbury men get paid, I'd be willing to have you all escort me back to see the young, 3 years old, Robert, to invest me properly as the mayor of this here town. Does that sound right to everyone?
Up above the table. So basically, the town is going to pay the mercenaries as long as it's taken off of their taxes for the year.
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to pay the full amount.
As far as you know.
Yeah.
I think that Robert's about 10 at this point, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah, he's alive at the start of the Chronicle.
Oh, is he? For some reason, I thought he was
I mean,
young.
he's young, I think, but yeah,
I thought he was
he's not of age for sure.
I thought that. Hold on, I'm pretty sure the King Arthur Pendragon, Great Pendragon campaign says that he's very, very young. So hold on a second.
Because you have to, like, in the 500 years where you have to the quest to go find him a wife.
Now look, I could be wrong about this. I've been wrong about plenty of things in my life, but I'm pretty sure that the book itself says that Robert is very, very young.
I mean, it's somewhere between 3 and 10. We don't know that much.
Sure.
I'll find out what we talk about it anyway. So, but if we're all agreed, I suggest that before we don't just lease radio, that we actually offer like these men alcohol to toast reaching an accord.
They don't drink.
Don't they? Well, they
One
smoke.
day they'll become modern Puritans. I did mention alcohol was not for sale.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Bloodfannon what sort of smith he is. Like, does he have a specialty?
He's a silversmith.
Silversmith, okay. Makes sense.
He looks you up and down. Are you carrying your giant hammer that you are well known for, the hammer?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so he says, my microphone didn't pick that up on OBS, so I don't know that Zoom picked it up, but he's sucking air in through his teeth. And he says, well, they say that you're a part wolf, part man, that you fought with the young wolves out west, that you do strange blood magic sacrifices like the Saxons, no? I was going to say...
I did fight with young wolves, but there were no blood sacrifices.
Very well.
Aside from blood spilled in the name of the kingdom through battle.
I'm just saying, if you ever need to get your weapons silvered against strange beasts or to control your bestial urges, you know where to find me.
This man thinks I'm a werewolf.
He does think you're a werewolf. There are people who have written songs about you, about various. He also thinks you have a big dick. So,
well, Mayor Smith, I appreciate your.
you just call me Buddy.
Oh, buddy. Well, all right, buddy. That feels really hostile. Hey, buddy. I appreciate you offering your services.
He says, all right, don't call me Buddy, pal. I'm just joking with you.
Robert's knighted in 509, so he's 21 in 509. So that means he's 14 years younger than 21, so he's 6. So right. 7. He's 7 this year.
I am looking at the end page for page 495 in the GPC on page 66, and it says the heir to the seat is a 3-year-old boy.
Okay, they've obviously.
Yes, I don't listen. I agree that your math is correct. Yeah. I did not do that math. I was reading the book and I saw that the boy was 3 years old right here, and I said, well, he's 3 years old. I agree that you, with your knowledge of the future, have correctly determined that this is a mathematical error. Let's say he's 6 now. So he actually is capable of saying the sentence, "I will make you a mayor," which I assume a 3-year-old probably maybe. I don't know a lot about kids, man.
I don't know. A 3-year-old can say that without understanding what they mean. Like,
Okay, well, the 6-year-old might be able to understand the concept of feudalism insofar as he outranks somebody.
Yeah.
I assume he can also walk on 2 feet and stand tall. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna keep investigating what a 3-year-old can do. Because now we've established, we're retconning that the child is 6 now. Now that I said the child, all I can think of is The Mandalorian Season 1. Bring me the child.
Bounty hunting is a, what does he say?
Dangerous
business.
Dangerous business.
It's a very complicated profession.
Yes.
There you go. Very well. Might I suggest, in your negotiations with the mercenaries, they're asking on the high side.
Yeah, don't take the first offer.
Yeah, so he walks up to you, Kendric.
Mm-hmm.
He offers you some country weed.
Sure.
And he says, "Sir Kendric, how old are you?"
32. I'll be 32 next year.
Okay. I've been a master of my craft for longer than you've been alive. I know a thing or two about negotiating with a man.
Of course.
I appreciate the heads up. You don't become a silversmith by being an idiot. And he slaps his knee and he says, "Well, best head out and get things started. I expect I'll see you here tomorrow. Ride me west."
We will see you in the morning.
Arthur, I would like to, as part of this, not
Stab
necessarily
him in the back
now.
right now.
I would like to convert 10 of my Libra into treasury by buying 10 Libra worth of silverwares from him so that he has some extra money to go towards the paying the mercenaries. And I just store these silver goods in my manor as treasuries and objects to art.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely has 10 Libras worth of. You're saying silverware. I assume you mean silvered wares, not a fork, a knife, and a spoon.
Yeah, like candelabras,
candlesticks. Yeah, for sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think probably
plates.
the most expensive piece he gives you is a small scepter.
Yeah.
That has like a jewel at the end of it. But yeah,
I want to turn my house into one of those RPG levels where you find so much treasure that you have to work out what's worth most to use your encumbrance on, because you just find so many silver plates and candlestick holders.
Okay,
that
so
inventory is full of vendor items.
You've met the
now we're playing
intersection.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, he's met the intersection of AD&D and Skyrim at the same time.
It's like, all right, I've got 6 silver cake pans, 6 silver candelabras.
Is it Caves of Chaos where you level up based on the number of gold pieces you bring back?
I mean, that's just OD&D.
Well, there it is. James is inventing OD&D before our very eyes. Box text. You have entered the mansion of Sir Gwgan. He has fallen some time ago, and the mansion is in disrepair.
That's right. The entrance room is 50 foot long, 30 foot wide, and 20 feet high.
Silver glints in the moonlight at every corner. My, what rustic architecture. I loot the room.
I'm going to say, I rewatched the Game of 3 recently, and I'd completely forgot the line where Magic the Gathering players are referred to as a rampaging gaggle of fail elementals.
You know, my favorite part about that is the Ninja Dragon Riders, and the Ninja Dragon Riders song is so good. We shall take our dragons, who are also ninjas. They're never going to make Gamers 4 at this point. They've basically absorbed several $1 million into not making Gamers 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless there's anything else you'd like to do here, you get a nice scepter and some candelabras. And tomorrow morning you will be making your way back to a changed serum.
All right.
Okay. You ride back to a serum at war. The past few days have been a flurry of activity. The Dame Titania and her band have gone to siege Santoro's holding of, I want to say, Weil?
No, that's Titania's holding.
Yes.
Chalk, you mean?
Oh, yes, it's the question of Chalk. Sorry. Yeah, they've gone to siege that because he's not present there. And essentially all of his servants and family members and men-at-arms have circled in and turned it into an armed camp. As suspected, very outrightly, the south of Salisbury has been sieged. The castle at Ebble and Burcombe have both been captured by that particular family, and something like a dozen manors are now under threat. As a result of all of these actions, Titania is now on the other side of the siege.
As in she's being like...
No, she is...
She's on the far side.
She's on the far side of two castles that have been captured away from her.
Yeah.
So the only way to get home would be to cross several rivers and at least one mountain range.
Yeah.
So, yes. It's not good down there near Broad and Aldivston and what will one day be called the Camelot Forest. The whole area is now, whether they are willing in the south or not, they are being forced by arms to take their crops that they have just harvested and send them to Ebble and Burcombe. And Wilton, I believe, is the castle down here.
Ebble is the that's the
Ebble's one of the two castles. I think the other one is Wilton.
Yeah, Wilton would be.
So
and it's not a castle, it's a walled city.
Yes, that sounds right. So roughly a third of the territory of Salisbury has been cut off from.
Oh, Jesus, Wilton's close as hell to Sarum. Okay.
Well, it's also across two rivers, which is maybe easier to move across during the winter, but no easy feat when they are held against you.
Well, yeah.
A new progress is being planned. Various knights are being called forth to join Robert's. What is it called when you join somebody's progress? I think they're just called progress knights.
Yeah, or just like household knights.
Sir Wayland is one of them. Sir Arnault is resuming his position as well. And there is a request that Sir Kerwin be detached from his duties to join as a progress knight.
Okay.
This is kind of like a... In one way, it basically means he won't be going to war and raiding or capturing anything, but it's also he gets to stay in nice places and eat good food all the time, you know.
And you know, it's a
quiet retirement.
For Kerwin?
Yes.
Kerwin's only like he's a younger dude.
I thought he was your uncle.
No, Morlaix and Selwyn are my uncles.
Well, Kerwin's the one I have listed. All right. Well, Kerwin's on the list.
All right. Sure. I mean, it's kind of an honor for the family as well. So I will allow it.
So there are now 3 progress knights instead of 12. You also hear rumors that, and follow with me here, this is going to sound a little weird, but there is historical context for this, that Dame Titania demanded that her men-at-arms and her 3 knights, Lanier, Draw, and Naroon, all suck her nipples in the fashion of Irish kings and lords, because she has a Irish name, and she was technically named after a Irish spirit, a Celtic spirit, and is a follower of the pagan Irish god Medivh. So in Ireland, when a king was found to be unworthy or too old, they would cut his nipples off so that you couldn't suck his nipples to show fealty. This is it's a real thing. However, it is alarming to the local Christians since it's super duper pagan and weird. That's all people are talking about is the war and Titania.
and people sucking nipples. Okay.
Okay. Listen, before you laugh at that, 2 of you conspired to write a song about how a hammer was a dick about 20 episodes ago. So
I don't know if it was 2 of us conspiring. I was just kind of, cheering along from the sidelines.
I got historical fact on my side. All right.
Yeah. So we go report to the Countess.
Okay. I assume you're reporting with a Gwgan Smith, possible mayoral candidate.
Yes.
Now, something we haven't discussed is that Gwgan clearly does not respect the authority of the Countess. He is here to swear to Robert. I don't know if there's anything you want to do or say to anyone to prepare any sides for what is about to happen.
I think we need to talk to Ellen first.
Yeah,
explain to her that this is like this is the better of 2 evils in terms of.
You'll also have to inform her that there will be, a tax cut.
Yeah. Well, a tax cut, and she doesn't have to pay these mercenaries, so that's a windfall.
Sure. A windfall to go with the deficit.
Yeah, but it's evens out, right?
Or she could pay the mercenaries and collect taxes.
Yeah, that's also whichever one she wants to do.
Yeah, but I suspect that he wants to be that way around because he can negotiate the mercenaries' fees, but he can't negotiate the taxes.
Correct.
Yeah,
and he can say that he negotiated £60 worth when in fact that's not what he paid.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of how to commit tax fraud before, even if I don't do it.
Yeah, I think we had a pretty good. I commissioned a piece of art from my friend. For,
James's introduction to.
I then have that piece of art valued at $30,000.
Got my pizza shop full of Italians next to my law office that has no lawyers in it, and my laundromat.
Yeah.
Lawn mowing office that has 1 client a year.
Yeah. God, that was such a good movie. So we go meet with the Countess first, sans Gwgan Smith, and give her the heads up on this is the deal we've made. She
is clearly in councils of war, preparing for easing the South back, and it sounds bad. It sounds like no one has sort of impetus to put men at war through the winter with no food, morale questions, confusion over who's actually in charge. Her authority is being questioned still. And there are a number of people who are saying that we should, it is my best advice that we should wait rather than strike this winter. And the only knight who seems to be completely on her side is Sir Leo, the Just. Is there anything you all want to say? I mean, Gwent looks like he wants to jump in here, but he also is not a particularly prestigious knight. So,
well, I think we can certainly use this situation to push, resolving the matter with Deplane in a, even if it's in a distasteful way, because that way we can then focus on the bigger problems. So we can use that to sort of say, okay, look, yep, this guy's only going to acknowledge Robert's status, but accept that, move on. You'll have a town that's no longer in open rebellion, and you'll have a mercenary company guarding our borders from Silchester. Then we can start thinking about the south.
Okay. She Mon Mothmas everybody by being like, sirs, the Order of the Axe, leave us and have a discussion. I'll say this, by the way. I haven't mentioned that my favorite moment of Ahsoka was when they're having a holo communication with someone and demanded that they leave the room, even though all 5 of the people in the holo communication are in the same room and could have turned it off or just muted. They were like, could you leave the room? I was like, this is the biggest dick power play move I've ever seen from Mon Mothma. Yes, she, with dignity and grace and exhaustion, dismisses a number of arguing and squabbling knights to receive the 4 of you.
I think as they leave, Kendric kind of just gives them all and the evil eye. It's like, you guys need to get your shit together.
You say that, or you just
no
significant PC glance?
PC glance,
yeah, significant PC glances at them.
Yeah, like, listen, I know a good significant PC glance.
Giving Sir Leo like an up nod.
Okay.
So.
He's very just,
Yeah, as am I.
They don't call you the just. They call you the wolf or the bear or the mad bear or the hammer.
But I am famously just.
Yeah, but they don't call you the just.
No, they don't. Lady Ellen, you've returned from Duplain.
Okay. Cersei Lannister's around the room, and by that I mean, she's got like a dignity while she's walking, but she is moving about the room, making, very lady woman like movements with her dress in her hands.
I thought you were going to say she was holding a glass of wine as well. That's very Cersei Lannister.
That's very Cersei Lannister.
Power is power. That's what she says to you. Right before ordering Gwgan to kill Kendric. So Gwgan kills Sir Kendric. No, but again, I'm half of an episode into A House of Dragons, and they seem to have remembered a time when Game of Thrones had staging and thematics and blocking. And yeah, she has a presence in this room that maybe has been absent in some recent meetings, as we wait to hear your report.
We've negotiated with the mercenary. Well, so the situation had changed. The knight who was in charge of the castle fled to Silchester. There was a mercenary company that had taken up residence in the castle, and the council. Yes, the mayor is dead. And then there was a council of town elders. We came to an accord with the council in that they would pay the mercenaries' wages for the year in return for having that amount reduced from their taxes to the county and their sinus tax. And in return, they are your loyal subjects once again. And we have a mercenary company of 100 men guarding our eastern border.
I'll admit, when you had asked to go, I did not expect this to be resolved diplomatically. These are rich lands. Our estates are not small, nor are they weak. I believe we can absorb such a financial loss during these trying times.
We've also brought the town council's suggestion of the personage to be invested as the new mayor, a Bud Fannin Smith.
I don't know this person.
I don't imagine you would. He is one of the members of what is called the town council. He's come to be invested by your son, the Earl.
What promises have you made him?
Other than the deal that we've just made, and that we would escort him here to be invested as mayor, none.
Do you have any inkling of his capabilities as a mayor or his loyalty to Robert?
He's very loyal to Robert. He still considers himself a Salisbury man. However, he doesn't recognize your authority, choosing instead to swear fealty to Robert directly. While this is difficult, I think that in this time, this is the best outcome to avoid conflict with the plane. He's a capable businessman. I believe that he'll be able to keep these mercenaries in line and ensure that they are fed and able to defend. I think that he will keep the town prosperous.
He says, fine. It's certainly not the first insult I've been forced to bear lately. I will receive this man later today, and for now, we will invest him as mayor, a title which can be revoked at any time.
We don't want to take up more time than necessary, but there's obviously a lot going on. Can we assist in the matters that are at hand?
I think that our issues at home will not be resolved quickly unless any of you would like to volunteer to lead a strike.
The castles at, the castle at Ebel and the city.
Cannot take Ebel. I would at least have Wilton. It is far too close to Sarum for me to feel safe. I do not know if the peasants south of Wilton will answer as levies to these brigands, but I am worried that men who do not work could be problems in other ways.
I have a suggestion regarding these rebels. These men swear loyalty to no one save themselves. They have not called upon other kings or other lords. They have simply shirked themselves away from responsibility to the rightful heir of this not station, but this county. Could we have the Bishop of Sarum declare that they are outside of the grace of God by stepping away from the natural order? Such a public declaration would lead potentially to God-fearing citizens not offering them succor going forward.
I agree that if Bishop Roger were to make such declarations, it would be towards for us. I am not certain that he would do so. It is known that Santoro and his family are Christians. One of them, Angwin, is a priest himself and still professes faith in God and no faith in me. And I think perhaps it does not need to be said that some of my most senior knights are famously not Christian. So the church has been somewhat lax to step in. I am not certain that pushing the bishop at this time will get the result I want. With that said, I don't know that there is any downside to putting pressure on him. So I suppose I shall schedule a meeting at his availability.
Perhaps we could offer the bishop that once this matter is resolved, any lands forfeited from this family would pay a significant tithe to the church.
Or if you need a different bargaining chip, perhaps the conversion of a notable knight of the realm.
And which notable knight would step forward to do such?
Well, there's only one pagan in the room.
There's two.
Yeah.
Oh, is there? I didn't know that Knieb was a pagan.
Out of her senior court, there are 3 pagans.
Okay. Myself.
You would offer a truthful conversion to the Christian God.
I would offer a conversion to the Christian God, yes.
I would not ask this of you. I will not at this time, I will not play with faith in those above us as a card. And I would certainly not ask you to go against any oaths or words you have spoken. It sounds as if you do not, perhaps, believe in the one true God. That is your choice, and I respect that. I would not have you try to serve 2 masters.
There is no greater crime on this realm than apostasy. There is no penance for it.
I will speak with the bishop, and we will see about the matter of the tithes or donations. If money can solve some part of this problem, perhaps it shall be solved. Sir Kendric, do you believe that you are capable of leading a march on Wilton and seizing it in the next 3 weeks before winter fully sets in?
Maybe. I can't guarantee that we'll take the city, though.
That's not good enough.
I mean, it is. It depends on the forces that are available to me.
It is a problem for the spring, I am afraid, then. We'll let the South stew, and perhaps the peasants in the South will come to appreciate Salisbury's gifts in their absence over a harsh winter. My other fear is that Hafren is a popular woman, the widow of a war hero, who is, it is rumored, not unskilled with a knife. I think that it would do well for all manors and all knights to see to their security this winter.
Very well.
I will go see to this Budafan Smith and his mayoralship. Thank you for what you have done, and the realm thanks you for your service. And I appreciate some of your other offers. We will speak again in the spring on this matter.
Very well.
Okay, so you can see that he calls people back in, but then begins taking pieces off of the map of Salisbury to indicate that there will be no winter siege if there is no commander. No one is confident in it.
Wow.
Bam, 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 bam. Listen, motherfucker, she said, are you sure? You said I have no guarantees.
Why? I mean, what army do I have? I don't know, man. I also only have a 10 battle. Like it's literally a 50-50.
Yeah, well, guess what? You might have the highest battle in the whole county.
Yeah.
This might surprise you, but other than Sir Hual, there are very few knights who have led other knights into battle here. They're mostly followers.
Yeah.
Friends, we're going to go ahead and go on a break before we figure out what happens here at the end. There's a strong possibility we might finally get to the end of the year stuff.
Winter phase.
Winter phase of 495. Yeah, it's only taken 3 episodes of 495.
I do have a hard out and a regular finish time tonight, just so you know.
Great. So then we better, maybe we shouldn't even start the winter phase.
I think we can get it done.
We got less than 40 minutes. I don't know about this.
I think we can do it in a half an hour.
All right, we'll find out when we come back from the break in about 5 minutes. Stick around or don't. I'm not in charge. Oh, hey, friends. Welcome to the third. You know, Glimo, I bet you thought I forgot about you this episode, but I didn't.
Oh, no. I was waiting for it.
Okay, well, now I'm worried. When you go back to your manor, you find that several wreaths have been sent to you that are full of flowers, including mock orange, poppies, and a primrose on each of them.
Okay.
Just seems like some random admirer sending you flowers. It is a cold manor you return to. Your closest friends and allies have moved in, but the servants who should be there are not.
Well, I shall task my wife to find us new servants as part of her stewardly duties.
Great, I can't wait for that stewardship, bro.
She actually has a good stewardship, unlike Harfin.
Great. Kanid and Gwgan and Kendric, all of you can increase your honor by 1.
Woohoo!
This is because you stood with the Countess unquestioningly this year.
Nice.
Kanid, I know
Yes.
that your love of family was lowered as a result of your disagreement with Harfin. But your actions since then, I believe, will give you a check mark for those that you still consider family.
Great.
Now, let's go ahead, open this book, and get started doing some nerd math.
Let's experience rolls first.
Yes.
Do I have any things that give me experience rolls? And record.
Okay.
I get to roll for energetic.
I think does not go up. Let's see what else.
Oh, I pass, so that means I get a check in energetic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Apiary.
I get a check in falconry.
No check in energetic for me.
Okay. All right, I am ready to start doing. All right, energetic does not go up. Rule does not go up. Amazingly. Proud does go up. Reckless does not go up.
Well. We're just four
The
guys
love of
sitting
family goes
silently rolling dice.
Yeah, rolling dice.
I didn't have
Concerned
this
commoners goes
character
up.
sheet before a full character sheet at the beginning of this year. Can I say that I would have had a check in sword from the
Sure.
battle?
Yeah.
Sword does not go up.
Sword does not go up.
Lance does not go up. That is all of my experience rolls.
I am also done.
Done on mine. Didn't have a lot go up this time.
Yep.
I went up in Proud and Falconry.
Maybe falconry can be your tin whistle.
Horsemanship is my tin whistle.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if you can pull the ladies with that horsemanship.
Well, I mean, Need is already married, so.
Yeah. Here's what I'm going to say to you, brother.
Not saying.
That's not stopping anybody.
Fair enough.
Yeah, don't forget, we need to age ourselves up and then test. So next thing is we age ourselves up and then we test for all of our entourage's skill developments.
All right. I'm now 34. Oof.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
there.
I'm actually only 31 now.
Really?
Yeah, because this would be 11 years after the start of the game.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Or no, I
Remind
guess
me, after my wife's improvable skills get to 15, it's what, a D6 and it goes up on a 6?
On it, yeah, 6 and a D6. That's right. Yeah.
No, you're right. I am 32.
Yeah. Well, my wife's industry goes up to 18. She's a better sewer.
No, not on mine.
None on mine.
All right. I think we're done with Entourage. So the next one should be working out expected income from the manor. And expected expenses.
Yeah. I now make 11 instead of 10 because my population went up last year.
I'm considering going and getting some tea or something. Let James run the show. He always runs this part because I'm still kind of unclear on how the manor part works. You guys are fully invested in it, so.
Oh God, what a terrible roll!
Woof. That's rough, James.
Yeah.
What's my income? Income is
My lowest income in a long time. All right, I need to do. I'll get the book out for the fortune net rolls.
That's D2 for the apiary, 2 for the dovecote, D2 for the fish pond, D6 berry herd. Let's see. Oh, this is the first year that my apple orchard will produce fruit. 1D2.
That's it. Okay, I got a benefit this year.
There we go. Hey, that's pretty good. 12.
All right. So remind me, James. Now I do. Is Arthur doing the weather for us, or
We do the weather. So we're going to do manorial luck and conflict first.
okay?
That's a D6.
D6 for the luck.
A 2. I think that's a.
You got a
that's
calamity.
A calamity.
And D20 for the calamity itself.
9.
9. Property destroyed. So one of your random improvements is destroyed.
God dang it.
Actually, no, you're going to roll a property destruction table. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Glimo, you also got
D20.
You also got calamity. So roll D20 for your calamity. 4.
which is Bandit Raid. 1d6 -1 to fate.
That's conflict.
Oh, sorry.
No. It is. It's a calamity called Bandit Raid. What +1d6 -1 to
gotcha.
fate. So your destruction was 1/4 of your village. So it increases your hate landlord by 3, Spoon.
Great. Okay.
Or decreases your.
Yeah, I'll just decrease my
Santoro,
commoners.
not the only rebel in this land.
I could just be a fire, for example, as well.
Yeah. So I'll just decrease my thing. I just got that up to a 5, and now it's down to a 2.
I had a good year for horses, so I need to roll for an extra horse.
Nice.
2. I got a extra courser. Okay. All right. So next up is going to be So is there any conflict this year, Arthur?
Not in Salisbury.
No worries. Okay. So then the next one is going to be rolling for the weather. So AP, this is you.
3d6.
3d6 plus a number. 3d6 plus 5.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got one thing to do during this, and I always remember that part. 15.
Okay.
Is
I
that
get
good?
-1 to that.
Yeah. But you're -1, but you also add your +2 on from your d6 -1 roll as well, Glimo.
Okay, so that goes on to the. Okay.
Yeah.
So where
So-
does?
So so where it says fate, so in the misfortune column where it's got fate at the bottom, you put that number in there,
Okay, so it's 16 is
Yeah,
the fate.
and then we each need to make a concern my commoners roll.
Concern my commoners.
Yeah, I fail.
I don't have concern my commoners. I didn't create one, so it's what through
It starts.
At like a 5, I think.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll just tell you when it starts at. Starts at 0, I think.
I thought it was there was.
Oh
a
no,
roll
starting
for-
value of 7. Starting value of 7. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. But then it
Alright.
changes. It changes when you get when you die, a new person comes in.
Concern my commoners starts at. Okay, so
Yeah.
now I make the roll.
Okay,
I
so if you
succeed.
succeed, you, in the care box, put down 5. If you crit, you put down 10. If you fail, you put down 0.
Okay.
All right. Then we need to do you need to roll your stewardship and roll your misfortune.
Okay. Misfortune is success. And
Ooh, my misfortune
stewardship
fumbled. Fantastic.
is
That's great.
success.
All right, so let's work these out. I'll go to the matrix. So I got I got success on my stewardship versus a failure on the misfortune, which is good. Spoon, you had
Success on my stewardship versus a fumble on the fortune.
excellent with yours.
I got
And-
double success.
Then who got the higher number?
Stewardship was a higher number.
Okay, you get regular. Yeah, I can test to see if my population grows now. Because I've had enough years of... It does not. This year. So then we deduct whatever we are, however we're living.
Which was let's see, 12 for a
Superlative.
rich.
Rich knight, yep.
Oh, interesting.
Is it 12 for a rich knight or 12 for superlative?
Superlative, 12. So 9 for rich, 12 for superlative.
Gotcha. So that's 12 plus the maintenance of all my stuff. But then I had a 20 Libra from the battle plus plunder. Okay. All right.
All right, and then next up is going to be all the family roles, I believe. We're off booking amount of stuff now. That's done.
Okay.
So what's
It's,
after financial circumstance, AP?
Your financial circumstance?
That's all done.
Yeah, we just did that.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you said, what's our financial circumstance? And
No,
I was
what's
confused
after?
because I was like, wait, I thought we just did that. Okay, so is everyone going superlative?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's +2 for horse, +3 for childbirth, child survival, and +5 for childbirth. So the first one is childbirth. Is anyone getting it on freaking nasty with their wife, and/or are you keeping any lovers for £1 a year?
No for me on both of those.
Okay.
Yes.
Trying
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
for a child with my wife.
Yeah, as am I.
No secret lovers, huh? Okay.
So yeah, no secret lovers.
Secret
D20
tunnel
plus 5.
through the
He
mountain.
almost turned Christian. You know, he's putting that life behind him.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think Gwgan would be happy with Kendric as a Christian.
All right. So you both had a child born.
Yep.
Yep.
D6 for child, odd is female, even is male.
A boy.
Girl.
We had a baby, it's a boy. Okay, child survival for all children, including the one that's just been born.
Yeah, my children all survived.
And that's
Let's see here. I have, I think, seven kids now.
D20 plus 3.
For each child.
Yes.
I only have the one kid now.
Oh, hold on. Okay, so 5.2 alters the way the rules work. So if it changes it so if you roll a 1 on child survival, the child will still die even with the bonus because the bonus is only a +1. Yes.
+1. That's right. Yeah.
So if you roll a 1 on child survival, the child still dies. Otherwise, they live.
Okay, my kid lives.
All of my kids live.
Barely any of them get ill.
Yep.
Okay. Got those nice family charts ready, right? We roll a d20 to see what events happen in your family. Some of you are getting increasingly small families, so these could be extremely significant.
Oh no.
14. I got family member lost or missing.
Oh boy, James. That's not the first time you've had that either.
I know.
I've got a death in the family.
Oh boy. And I have to tell you, I'm not counting Hafren and her brothers as part of your family anymore, so you can't target them with your god hand.
I got a marriage in the family.
Well. Look at this guy.
I only have, well, I've got a lot of family. I just only have 4 knights, but am I allowed to pick or do I have to roll for it?
You pick.
I am going to kill off my Aunt Daz.
Is she on my list? Hold on. Nope. Okay.
She's unremarkable otherwise, but
Listen, I
I
just have a list.
I'm going to have my Aunt Caddy disappear. She was the one that was like quite vocal during the family meeting many years before.
That's very
after,
unfortunate for me because I was going to have her make a comeback, but
well, she still can. She's only missing. Doesn't say she's dead. She's missing.
I mean, we'll find out. They say the fairies are strong this time of year. Who knows with all these wild men and Saxons running about? It's a lawless land.
And her husband is still one of my knights.
Of course. Oh, by the way, during the winter, you received word that 3 knights were hanged at Blaine.
Yeah.
Was that on the order of the Earl / Countess?
It was on
Or
the
just-
order of the mayor.
Okay.
3 traitors, Sir Colin, Sir Dylan, and Sir Elphys. They technically didn't abandon their post. They did, however, abandon their oath.
Yeah.
Hey, once you got that out of the way, we're at step 7, which is page 132. Training and practice. You get to pick increasing skills to 15, increasing a skill up to 20, or improving an attribute, trait, or passion.
I think for the first time in a while, I'm going to go skills.
Not size?
Nope, not size. Well, I mean, I literally can't increase my size
glory.
anymore.
Yeah, it has to be glory wise. Yeah, that's right.
A 6. So I think I'm going to put 5 of those into battle.
Yeah, me too. It seems like a time that's worth doing that, I think.
Now remember, you can't. Your battle's 10, and you can't go above 15.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I said 5, and I have 6 points.
Yep. Making sure.
And then I'm putting a point into Lance, because even though I have a jousting yard, I don't think I've been able to improve my Lance by rolls in a while.
That's good, because I wanted to have a bunch of like night one-on-ones with spaghetti western music playing as the two of you ride in a circle of equals around each other before coming together in a clash, while dozens of spectators watch, cheering for each side. The Wild Arms 2 theme plays.
I think I'm going to increase my con by 1.
Good choice.
Interesting.
Now it's glory.
I believe I have already awarded the battle glory for this year.
Yeah. Yep.
So there will be glories for your famous traits and passion that are 16 plus. You get that amount in glory. You get conspicuous consumption. At least one of you has consumed conspicuously this year. You get annual glory. The nightly glory for chivalry, and then religious glory for holding your 5 traits at 16 plus, I believe. Is that how that works? It gives you armor of faith.
Chivalry is for getting all the relevant ones to equal over 100.
Right.
Did we get any glory for our actions at Duplain?
Oh, that's a good point. Let me think about that for a second.
Okay.
Let me consult the Elder Chronicles. The answer is you will get glory. I just want to look at the solo scenarios in GPC and see if I can get an idea of about how much that's worth. I am willing to grant all of you 50 points of glory for that, and an additional 5 to Sir Kendric for running it as the leader.
And you said
10% bonus to tithe, really.
Yeah.
Call it 50 points for diplomacy at Plain. It's time for the yearly throwdown, diplomacy at Duplain. I'm gonna break Sir Kendric across my knee.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't suppose you want to dole out like another 120?
No, not really. You can earn that in play. You know, WAFO, really.
I would like to make some well, no, because I guess are gifts considered expenditures?
Conspicuous consumption.
Yeah, conspicuous consumption.
I don't think so. I think conspicuous consumption means you have to spend it on yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. right. That's
Okay,
fine.
did anyone exceed 1,000 points of glory?
I did, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, I think everybody does from the battle.
sure.
Yeah.
Nope.
You might recall Kinnead came in a little late
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
with all
Sorry.
the death.
Yeah.
I'm at 1880 glory.
And then we should get the final glory count to see who will lead that siege on.
I mean, if it's based on glory, it ain't gonna be me.
Well, that's unfortunate for you because that's how the society works.
Yep.
It's 5911 for me.
So close. I am 5884.
1880.
Sir Gwgan,
Yep.
you are the second most glorious knight in all of Salisbury.
What are you gonna do with your glory point?
I'm thinking about that at the moment. Who is the most glorious?
Sir Will, the banneret of West Lavington. He's pushing the upper end of 680. 6,800, sorry.
I'm debating.
You want to get a mirror on the wall? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the most glorious of them all? The mirror goes, I don't know. I'm kind of into underage girls. So you go, whoa, mirror. What? That's how that story goes, brother.
Yeah. Like a lot of fairy tales, it's pretty fucking dark.
That's it, mirror. I'm throwing you in the dungeon.
Yeah. Ah, man, do I shore up? Let's see. Hang on. Let's take a look at this. If I bump that up to 19, all that does is it increases my hit points. We're going to start using Book of Feasts, correct?
It might not be. It's probably going to be closer to the Boy King era when feasts start. We will definitely be having feasts that will have Crusader Kings 3 style events, but we will not be using full Book of Feasts yet.
Okay.
I mean, the thing about using Book of Feasts and doing 1 to 2 feasts a year is that basically 80% of the year is going to be the feast. You know what I mean? Like, it's a production. I'll tell you what, though, Spoon. If any one of you hosts a multi-day feast, we may tutorial a Book of the Feast session during this dark time.
I obviously haven't got time to roleplay this out, but I mean, if I was to ask under the current circumstances, the Countess, if I could build some fortifications on my land.
Yes, absolutely. She will grant permission.
Can't build a castle yet.
You've proven to be both a loyal and glorious knight. Honorable indeed.
I definitely built my tower this year. For
well, look at Mr. Tower Builder here.
It was a stone tower. Actually, that increases my annual glory as well.
Well,
stone
friends,
tower for 50 Libra.
We have less than 5 minutes to get James out of here, so let's do end of session stuff. Anyone got any outros? Glimo specifically outros? Introductions?
I'm Glimo. You can find me on Arthur's Discord. I think during the 6 weeks or so that we'll be off, I might actually be streaming on twitch.tv/Glimo. I'm starting to work on Mardi Gras costume stuff, so I'm working on a couple of things, but I'm going to be doing some some scale mail stuff, so come hang out.
Well, I do want to say you and Spoon may be receiving special envelopes with invitations to the Solaris Knights 2 playtests for this break, which will go Patreon only.
Nice.
You're testing everyone's honor. You know, speaking of Spoon, let's talk to Spoon. Seems busy doing stuff on a spreadsheet, which means it's the best time to interrupt him.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm BigSpoon. You can find me on Arthur's Discord. On Blue Sky as BigSpoon. I am a player here. Sir Kendric, obviously. Also Godric Godrickson over coaching the one of the best dwarven teams in the old world, Ironhold Hammerers on Brew Ball Season 2 on James's channel. And possible future shows.
I just want to say, during my next episode of Blood Bowl, I will be following in the footsteps of the great dwarven troll, Marshawn Lynch's son.
Nice. You know why I'm here.
James, we've got less than 4 minutes to get you out of here. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm GrimDarkJames. You can find me on Arthur's other shows when they resume again. Blades of Honor, Imperial Maledictum when it begins. Or check out the Brew Bowl on my YouTube channel. YouTube, it's just GrimDark Podcast, and you'll find it.
Fantastic. I have nothing to say, friends. I'm going to go ahead and get this video edited together so that people on YouTube can watch it. Have a good time zone. And you know what? Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.